didn't think Chainsaw Man would succeed. With manga panels such as these, and one of the best cast of characters I've seen in any piece of media, and that intro, and every single episode has a different outro song just to flex on every other show out there because they know how good it is. Like, did you see the start of this video? This song was so hard. It was always going to be a show to be remembered for years to come. Though it wasn't in competition for the 2022 Anime Awards. I mean, if Cyberpunk didn't win, I think I would have chucked myself out the nearest window, but you know, good thing they won't be in the hard 2023 competition, right? Sure, Chainsaw Man is successful with its millions of viewers and having one of the most interesting and earned developments I've ever read in any piece of media. But the question I want to ask is it a masterpiece? Or the real question we should be asking is it a Chainsaw Masterpiece? I'm not going to answer this through subjective means though. Anyone can consider anything to be a masterpiece with nothing stopping them. Even Sword Art Online can be considered a masterpiece if you're stupid enough. I watched the most recent movie in the cinema. I don't know who I am to talk. I even liked it. It's like a 7, 8 out of 10. That's not 7. Don't say it. So I've got to produce like scientific, indisputable evidence for this video to be worth anything, right? Well, I managed to find scientific, indisputable evidence. Chainsaw Man's very own mangaka, Tatsuki Fujimoto. Fujimoto before Chainsaw Man was most known for his works on Fire Punch, often confused with Fire Force. By me. And I've only read Chainsaw Man, and my god, it's great. Like, please catch up if you haven't. I'm not going to spoil the manga here, but my god, Season 2 is going to be like one of the best animes of the year. Anyways, when that story concluded on January 1st, 2020, 11 months later, he was back with Chainsaw Man Chapter 1. Of course, as you know, as the series went along, it built up more and more traction with its beautiful art and outstanding characters. The series garnered so much reputation, people all over were calling it a masterpiece or the greatest thing ever. Then, of course, this transformed into what happens with anyone who creates something everybody likes. He was feeling a bit of imposter syndrome. Why him? There's so much work out there and he was the one to get all this prestige? I mean, have they even read One Piece? Okay, real talk, just me and you. I wanted to put it in the manga. I sold my life for 10,000 yen a year, but it's not mainstream enough for like a joke that people would get. But go read it, me cry like a bitch. Anyway, yeah, imposter syndrome. Fujimoto and the mangaka decided to pour all these emotions he was feeling into a one-shot manga comic, just 18 pages, called Just Listen to the Song. Just Listen to the Song released on the 4th of July 2022 in the lull between Part 1's ending in Chapter 97 and Part 2's break from serialization, making this the most American-Japanese product of all time. God save the Queen. I mean, it was definitely a coincidence. This is how anime portrays average Americans. I mean, I only think you find this type of guy in like Texas, maybe. The one-shot is about an unnamed high schooler who wants to confess to his crush through the form of a YouTube video of him singing. Of course, as anyone would expect, that's cringe. It did not work. But the video has taken a life of its own. People who are finding the video through the recommendations have found aberrations in this video. Ghosts, a cat which resembles the sun, people saying that if you reverse the video it talks about gun culture, and if you translate it into Spanish it denies the existence of God. Obviously, this was all unintentional by the boy. He just wanted to confess to his crush in probably the cringiest way possible, but it racks over 400 million views. Kinda like how this video would do when you give it a like to boost it in the algorithm. I'm sorry. The boy then decides to make a second song because of the mass appeal of the first one, called Just Listen to the Song. It's his name! It's the name of the thing! He said the thing! Very creative, I know. Anyway, this new video was panned, a 10 out of 10 on the YouTube scale. Nobody likes it, and the boy ends up deleting all his videos. The manga's ending is, I am not kidding, the crush from the start of the story calls him cringe to his face, and he gets sad. Like, it's Also, this is a very popular panel for a bunch of memes. Look at that. Wow, not funny. Now let's all put on our thinking caps and see what you think this manga's significance is to Fujimoto. A. Fujimoto was bored one day and decided to create it for the funsies. B. Fujimoto's the boy and it's an allegory for life and Chainsaw Man's rampant popularity. C. It's B. D. It's B. Just pick B. I mean, with the illiteracy of some Chainsaw Man readers, I can see why Fujimoto got so overwhelmed with the fandom. Would you believe me if I told you one chapter featuring a total of 10 speech bubbles and 59 total words had this speech bubble in it and fans lost their mind? Like, calling Deji unrealistically stupid when he's done this in the past, and there's like lore reasons why you would think and say like this, but I won't go into it. Look at this cool bike, Chainsaw Man bike. In my opinion, Chainsaw Man is not a masterpiece. Fujimoto obviously thinks the same, though I still highly recommend reading it. It's one of my top reads of the past year. This all really boils down to the imposter syndrome that Fujimoto faces, like many people in creative spaces do. Since you're here on YouTube, I'm sure you've watched some big YouTubers you like on here struggle with this themselves, or maybe you've even dealt with these insecure feelings before. To be honest, this manga isn't like great or anything. I'd hardly even call it worth your time to read. It's only 18 pages long, but there's still contrivances in the story. A character comes into the story for a singular page and says, "Don't delete the video, the ghosts are gonna haunt you, ooh, spooky." And there's this one line that says, "Did you do it for the lulz?" You lulz with a Z. Disgusting. I think the main message Fujimoto was trying to get across through his work is we don't need to look into every single scrap of content in every piece of media so deeply all the time. Sometimes the blue curtains are just blue, and sometimes when someone says they want to touch some boobs, they want to touch some boobs.